What's up, gamers? Welcome to another edition of The Rant. Now, today we're going to be discussing Dead Space. The remake trailer finally dropped by EA, right? So excited about this. Gonna really gush over the fact that this is coming out. But moving right along, right after that, we're going to talk about another franchise that is close to my heart. That's the Injustice franchise, finally getting an animated movie. I've been saying for the longest that if they make this a movie, it is going to blow the doors off. So even though it's not live action, right, I think DC has done an amazing job when it comes to their animated movies. And so seeing this coming out is going to be a godsend, I think, if you are into the animated genre and a fan of the Injustice series. And then finally, right, we're going to talk about Pokemon Unite and the pay to win controversy. I don't know why this is a surprise to anyone, but I guess it is. And people, as usual, they want to complain. It's not like this hasn't been done before, but we'll get into that later. So, Dead Space, right? A lot of speculation of whether this was going to come out or not. I mean, there were so many things happening with announcements and games. Nintendo dropping the ball on that OLED Switch, right? Just plugging that in there again. And so we really didn't know what was going to happen with this. And it was fantastic to see this reveal trailer prepping us and creating that foundation for what I think is going to be an amazing remake. So let's take a look at that so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about and have a little more understanding of why I'm so excited about this. I have goosebumps. I mean, that trailer was so amazing. If you were paying attention to the small things, right? It's going to be on the Frostbite engine, so it's going to look phenomenal. If you were scared before, you're going to definitely be scared now if it's using Frostbite. And my gosh, right? It's been such a long time. Space 1, Dead Space 2, which was an amazing follow-up, right? And I think both of these games really pushed the survival horror genre forward in a different way, right? Space is just naturally creepy because it's unknown. It's, the silence of space, right? But there were just a lot of things that were amazing in both of those games, not only from a technical perspective, but just creating the atmosphere, the music, everything was just perfect in my opinion. Once we got to Dead Space 3, things started to fall apart. We had a railgun version on the rails version of the game, I think for the Wii. But outside of that, this franchise really deserved to continue moving forward. And when it didn't, it was quite disappointing. And I was like, what happened to Dead Space? It's Isaac is just such a pivotal character. And it's because we can all relate, right? He's just this blue collar worker out in space. Reminds me very much of Alien and Aliens, right? Where, Sigourney Weaver was in the beginning just someone that was working for this corporation, this shipping corporation. They stumble upon this crazy scene on a spaceship, right? They're fighting for their lives, right? And so Isaac is caught in a similar situation. And the thing that was pivotal at the time about the gameplay was cut off their limbs. And you're like, what the hell do they mean? And you use the arc cutter for the first time and you start severing arms and legs, or the things that resemble arms and legs, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. So I'm super excited about this. I think you all should be too. It's a good time if you haven't played the series. I think Steam had most of them up very cheap, so you can probably go back and get a little taste and prepare, or you can just wait it out until the actual remake is released and experience it brand new if you've never played the series before. All right, moving right along. Other exciting news, and this was just a great set of days for me because the other wonderful announcement that I heard was Injustice animated movie, right? Rick Morales, the same guy that did Scorpion's Revenge, right, for Mortal Kombat Legends, also produced by NetherRealm Studios, right? So you got some great creative minds there that are guiding this forward. Injustice, if you are unfamiliar with it, is the story of Superman going rogue after the Joker kind of kills Lois Lane, his wife, and basically his kid. He just decides to become a dictator and take over the world, in the beginning to protect the world from itself, like most dictators say. But then, he just goes full dark. He starts attacking anyone that does not support him. And the crazy thing is he had a series of heroes that followed him, right? And then Batman kind of went the other way and was like, no, you can't take people's rights. This is not what you're supposed to do. And it was Batman's greatest fear, right, that Superman would go the other route. And so luckily Batman's been preparing for all this, and I want to see how they play this out in the anime version, because in the game the storyline was awesome and they played it out very well. And then there was a comic book series that followed that also drew upon this, and that spin-off was awesome. So let's see, can they do this in animated form now? DC, even though they've done a I guess thing with their live action movies, right, from an animated perspective, they've released hit after hit. If you are unfamiliar with their library and you stood away because you saw the live action series, trust me, the animated series are so much better, so much more enjoyable. They're very adult, a lot of violence, right? So, definitely you want to look at what the ratings are first and kind of read what's there, because if you got kids around, you probably don't want too many young ones looking at some of this stuff, because it does get pretty violent for an animated series movie, right? And so the same way, like, your mileage may vary if you want your kids to play Mortal Kombat or not. So that's really up to you. But again, super excited about that. This is also amazing news, right? And now something that I'm scratching my head about, because I don't understand what the big huff is. What did people expect Pokemon Unite to be if it was free to play? And here's what kills me about free to play, right? I hear lots of nonsense over it. Listen, the people that make these games can't create them for free, right? So they are going to make money one way or another. Now, it behooves me when people are like, oh, I don't understand why I have to pay for it. Well, how do you think they're going to pay for the production that goes to make these games, right? So, all right, well, yes, some of them can be a little abusive. Like I said in my previous video, when I reviewed it and I gave my initial impressions on it, I didn't think the costs were too bad. It's one of those things like, yeah, if you want it for free, well, you're going to have to grind. Like, that's the whole purpose of it. And now I know some games have kind of gone a different route. But when you think about Genshin Impact, right, where you have blind rolls that you'll pay for, people are spending hundreds of dollars on these, and a lot of them are also kids too, right? And so if you're not monitoring what your children are spending on, right, if you are letting them buy these things and aren't being a parent, then don't get upset. And you know what? Be happy that you can download this game, play it, right? It's a good game. It's done well, in my opinion. It's one of those things where, yeah, if you want the best characters, buy it. Why not, right? Like, Pokemon is a franchise that's been around for a long time. You spend $60 on one of their games when you buy them. I don't understand what the problem is if you spend up to about $60, even more. And this is a common theme now. We've said this. Like, when the loot crate systems were coming out, when all this monetization was coming out on mobile devices, I said it before, like, hey, if you guys aren't going to pay a premium price for mobile games, they're going to have to figure out a different way to make the money. And they found that way. And now you're upset. And why are you upset? They need to make money too. How do you think they're going to pay these devs? You think these devs work for free? The marketing, all these things that go into creating a game for you to play and enjoy are not free. You're going to pay one way or another. So, boo-hoo, when I said years ago, hey, give devs the $20 they're asking for to create an amazing game, for your mobile devices, people huffed and I don't want to pay $20. Now they're spending hundreds of dollars on drops. Makes no sense whatsoever. They wouldn't pay $20 for a premium experience on a mobile device, right? Wouldn't pay for it. Argued tooth and nail, would fight you. No, I would never pay $20 for a mobile game, right? And they're spending hundreds for these drops. They're just add-ons to the games and DLC, like costumes and nonsense that don't really add any value. They just distinguish you somewhat. People are paying hundreds to get characters, and you're not even buying the character in some of these games, right? Like in Genshin, you're rolling to hopefully get it. And I've played with my kid before, and I've dropped $100, $200 just to get a couple of characters, and those were blind rolls. Now, at least with Pokemon Unite, you can still get those characters. Okay, right? You know what you're paying. Will it take you maybe 5 weeks because you're capped? Okay, it takes you 5 weeks. Well, that's your choice. You're choosing to do that because you're playing the game for free. All right? And so if you're going to go there and spend $20 and you're going to get the character you want, I don't think that's a bad deal. I mean, $20, I spent $20 on Pokemon Unite. I was able to get 4 characters that I really wanted. I thought that was fair. The battle pass as well. You throw that in, you get some more characters, things like that. So up to you how much you want to support and spend on the game. Let's not cry about it. Let's not act like it's something new. Come on, Pokemon Go has been out for how long? And people have been dropping tons and tons and tons of cash. And, that's, in my opinion, I like it, but it's not a phenomenal game experience, right? It's okay. The big seller is that it's Pokemon. If it wasn't Pokemon and it was something else, people probably wouldn't play it. I know I probably wouldn't. But, people have been spending tons of money for the longest. Pokemon Masters, right? Like, there have been mobile games from the Pokemon franchise that were free to play, and you spent on all the add-ons before. So, come on. Let's get realistic now. I mean, I feel like we're complaining a little bit about everything. I would understand. I played the game. I played multiple rounds, right? I don't think it was so much pay to win. I mean, yeah, there's some rebalancing that needs to happen, but you know what? That happens with most games like this. The characters need to be rebalanced. It's the first time they've been releasing something like this for the Switch, right? Under the Pokemon franchise. So it takes time. It's going to take a couple of months for them to see, looking at heat maps and battle results to see what's really happening and how players are actually using the characters and whether they need to, buff other characters or negate, current characters that are so-called too powerful. Welcome to the world of gaming, guys. Like, this is what it is. If you've been in competitive fighters and things like that before, they balance and rebalance all the time, especially after they release patches and things like that. Players play it, they give their feedback. After a couple of months or so, you get some changes. Like, it is what it is. So let's deal with it. Let's see where they go, right? Let's see what they're offering for these systems. And, if you're a parent that's letting your kid use your credit card and things like that, like, that's tough. That's your problem. You did that. I haven't had those issues. You know what? If you're worried about them overspending, buy them a Nintendo gift card that has a cap amount, and that's it. Here you go. Here's $20. Here's $100, right? Don't go willy-nilly giving your credit card to your kid, and then when they go spend $1,000 worth of downloads and things like that, go and blame the developer and go crazy. Like, take some accountability for yourself as a parent if that's the case. If you don't want them playing these type of games, don't put them online. What do you want me to tell you? Like that, I don't feel that other players should be punished because you don't want to do your job and kind of corral what your kids are doing and how they're spending. Like, it's my responsibility as a parent to know what my kids are buying, what they're playing, right? I think that maybe back then it was a lot harder, but there's so many simple tools out there. And parental controls have gotten way, way better than they were many years ago. Do your job, put the right restrictions on your devices. Like I said, monitor their spending, control their spending. So I don't want to hear that complaint. Now, the complaint of these pay-to-play, pay-to-win games being too abusive, like, yeah, they can be, right? But this is the same problem. Like I said years ago, pay the premium price up front, right? Pay $20, get the game, download it, give the developers their money so they can do this, right? And this is unfortunately what spawned out of the 99-cent era, right? People didn't want to pay more than $1 for a game. Well, hey, unless they were selling millions and millions of copies, how did you expect them to recoup their development costs back? Honestly, right? They need to come up with new creative strategies. So we created this problem because we did not want to support the developers in the beginning and say, hey, you're providing a premium experience on a mobile device. Let me give you your $20. And we would have had complete games with everything already there. Maybe a couple of DLCs, on and off, because they would have still made their money from selling that $20 game, that $30 game. I don't know. What do you think? Am I crazy? Like, go ahead, tell me. I want to know. I want your opinions. I need to hear what you have to say. But those are our 3 topics for today. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what you're hearing and join the conversation. Drop some comments below. Hit the like button if you like the video. If you don't, well, thumbs down. Do what you got to do. Love you all anyway, and we will see you next time.